Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm finally giving you guys a little health update, opening up about a difficult little season that I've been walking through. Just one of the things. There have been a lot of things in this season, a lot of heavy things. If you've seen the title of this video, if you follow me on Instagram, I opened up on Monday on my stories about it. Basically, long story short, I have a brain tumor. I have a tumor in my pituitary gland. Some people say it's a brain tumor, some say it's not technically a brain tumor, but your pituitary gland is located at the base of your brain, so could be considered a brain tumor. I don't really know. But it sounds scary. And when I first found out about it, I was very scared. And it's been a long couple of months of, you know, getting the MRI, hearing I have a tumor, waiting for the doctor's appointment, waiting for more blood work, waiting for this, waiting for that, thinking it's gonna be this, hearing that, and just like a lot of that stuff, which has been challenging but also very refining. And it's been one of the hardest seasons of my life, but I can already see so much beauty in it, which I'm so thankful for. But anyway, in this video I'm just gonna kind of share symptoms I've had, how I found out about it, all of that, because I know people are going to have questions about that. But also I want to say, I know personally if I saw a video like this back in the day, I would become very fearful. For all my friends out there who struggle with health anxiety, I would be very fearful that, oh my gosh, do I have this tumor? That's the last thing I want for this video to be. I needed the first couple of months to really just process it with myself, with close friends, family, give it to the Lord, process it with the Lord, help Him guide me towards my next steps. And I needed to feel peace about that before I opened up about it, but I wanted to open up about it. And I really just feel like there is such a space on social media for people who talk about this tumor in a lighter way. Because it really is not as scary as I think it sounds. It's a fairly common tumor. I've seen so many people that say they have it, and so many people since I found out about it that I've told close family and friends, like almost all of them have been like, oh yeah, so-and-so I know has that, so-and-so has that. And so I've just seen so many people that have it, so I feel like it's more common than people think. It's fairly common. There are a lot of people out there who I feel like just need some encouragement along this journey and just need to know that, like, hey, you're not alone and it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. So that's kind of my passion behind opening up about this, and I feel like that is a big purpose of why I'm going through this, because I just want to share it with you guys, and I want to be real, and I want to be vulnerable and share everything. So here we are. Let's go back to the very beginning. How I found out that I had this tumor. As you guys know, maybe if you're new here, you probably don't know, but I struggled with an eating disorder for 5 years. For about 4 years. I lost my period for 5 years. Age 17, when I lost my period, I started going yearly to the OBGYN to get my hormones checked, to make sure there was nothing like crazy severe going on. So I would go yearly and get my hormone levels checked. And throughout that whole time, she was testing like all the hormones. And when I got my period back, so 2 years ago, I got, you know, all my hormones checked again, and she noticed that my prolactin levels were mildly elevated. I think at this point, so prolactin is the hormone that produces breast milk when you're pregnant, so it's a pregnancy hormone. If it's elevated outside of pregnancy, it can, not always, but it can indicate this tumor. So mine were a little elevated. The normal levels are like 0 to 25, some people say 0 to 27 outside of pregnancy. Mine at the start were just like 35. So 2 years ago, my levels were 35, so mildly elevated. But my OBGYN was like, you should go to an endocrinologist. I feel like they always just send people to an endocrinologist whenever this hormone is elevated, because it can signal issues with the pituitary gland. So I went to see an endocrinologist at that time because they were worried about this tumor, and I, at that time, was very concerned about this tumor. and very scared. So I went to see this endocrinologist, and since I had just gotten my period back, I think at that point I had only had it back for like 4 or 5 months. The endocrinologist was like, I'm not too worried. Hearing your history, I feel like it's possible that they just need time to balance out again. Come back in 3 months and we'll recheck everything. So I went back in 3 months, they rechecked, my prolactin levels were normal. So I was like, okay, I don't have this tumor, all is good. Flash forward to a year later when I went back to the OBGYN, a little over a year later. So this was just this past January or February, I can't remember. January or February, I got all my levels checked and my prolactin was higher. So it was about 41 this time. So she was like, you should go back to an endocrinologist. I was like, okay. But I didn't at that time because I was already working with a functional medicine doctor to heal my other hormonal imbalances because I was struggling with hormonal acne. I have videos on that if you want to go check out that journey, but I was struggling with pretty bad cystic hormonal acne. And so I knew I had hormonal imbalances, and so I wanted to really heal them naturally and just heal my body holistically and naturally. And I was working with a functional medicine doctor, and I told him about it, and he was like, let's just do, since they were still mildly elevated, he was like, let's just do what we're doing with this and we'll recheck everything in like 6 months or so. So that's what I did. I waited, rechecked everything in August, I think. Got my blood work done in August of this year, and my prolactin was still elevated, but it was still only about, it was like 41 in February or March, and then 40 in August. So it went down 1. So I really, at this time, did not think that I had a tumor. But my functional medicine doctor ordered me an MRI because he was like, we just want to rule this out, make sure that's not what's going on. So I went to get an MRI, and I honestly went into that MRI so sure that I just didn't have a tumor. I was like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not having symptoms. My period was like, it was irregular at the start of the year, but since I've been working to heal my hormonal imbalances and my hormonal acne, like my acne was clearing up, my periods were regular again. For like 4 months they had been regular. So I was like, it just doesn't make sense in my mind that I have this tumor, because most people lose their periods become irregular, they start having like hormonal imbalance symptoms, and I was having the opposite. Like mine seemed to be healing. So I was really confused. I got the MRI results back, and if you go back and watch that video where I was like, I'm struggling, that's the title, and I cried, I had literally just gotten the results of that, and everything was just like piling up on me. That was a really difficult time. But anyway, I got the MRI results back, and I went to Africa, and then, which the timing of that trip was not coincidental. It was so beautiful, so healing, and I felt the Lord speaking to me in so many beautiful ways. And anyway, I came back, and then I had to schedule an appointment with an endocrinologist again. So I had to wait a couple weeks for that appointment. I went to see this endocrinologist. I was like, I'm not having any symptoms. And she was like, it sounds like it's inactive, but let's do a full pituitary panel of blood work to check on everything, and thyroid, and make sure that it is inactive. The blood work should confirm that a little more. So I got that blood work done, but that took like 7 to 10 business days to come back because it was like more intensive blood work. So after waiting a couple weeks for that, I finally got that back, and that blood work, my prolactin had gone from August to early October. It had gone from 40 to 95. So it had over doubled. And also my insulin growth hormone, I think that's what it's called, some sort of growth hormone, was slightly elevated. It wasn't crazy elevated, but it was slightly elevated, which can also indicate tumor in the pituitary gland. That one, if that one continues to go up, like your facial features will become enlarged, your hands and feet can become enlarged. I'm like, that's weird. That's a little scary. I don't want that one to go up. So my prolactin levels, and that level really, even my endocrinologist was like a little shocked by that. She was like, I'm confused. Like, she wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting that because I still wasn't having symptoms that I noticed. So anyway, it wasn't until last week that I finally had an appointment with her to discuss that blood work and what the next steps are going to be. So it's been almost 2 months since I got the MRI results back. And it's just been almost 2 months of just waiting for this, thinking I'm gonna get answers, getting more waiting, wondering. But amidst all of that, there's been so much refining, and just I felt the Lord with me every step of the way. And it's been a really beautiful journey. It hasn't been easy, but it's been really beautiful, and I just have felt a nearness with the Lord that I've never experienced in my life before, which I'm so grateful for. So I had this appointment with my doctor last week on Wednesday, and it was really disheartening because I came into this appointment expecting her to have answers for me and expecting her to be like, this is the best next step, at least give me that. And this is nothing against her, it's just my situation was a little weird because I wasn't having symptoms, so it was really hard to know what to do. I left that appointment and she was like, there are 2 options. You can start taking the meds now, and we could wait and we could retest everything in 6 weeks, or you can wait 4 weeks and then we can retest, collect a little more data, see if it continues to go up or stay the same or even go down. And so in my mind, as someone who really, I am a little fearful of medication, just because I really just wanted confirmation that my body needed this medication before I went on it. And this medication, it's called cabergoline. What it does is it stops the overproduction of prolactin in your body. It actually replicates dopamine in your brain. It can come along with some rough side effects that I've seen, and so I was really just scared of that, and really scared. I didn't want to be on it the rest of my life, and I was really scared that that was going to be the case. And so I was really just so overwhelmed. I was like, I don't want to wait 4 weeks and end up with this thing growing and end up with a lot of symptoms. Like, I don't want that, but I also don't want to start taking a medication if I don't know that my body needs it. And so I was really just so overwhelmed, and I just really needed, I thought the doctor was going to at least be able to tell me what was going to be best for my body, and so it was really disheartening that she couldn't tell me that. So I was kind of just left with that, and I really took that evening to just give it to the Lord and really pray for clarity for my next step. I was like, God, I cannot make this decision on my own. As someone who I know I struggle with the fear around medication, I was like, I cannot make this on my own. Like, I tried to follow my peace, but I couldn't discern if waiting, because I thought I wanted to wait initially, but I couldn't discern if waiting was me following peace or if it was me following my fear of taking medication. And so I really was just like, God, I cannot make this decision on my own. Like, I need you to help me. And I spent that whole evening just in prayer over my next step and just clarity for my next step, because I knew I couldn't make this decision on my own. I was just way too overwhelmed. It was really crazy, but also really sweet. While I was praying, there were so many little steps that led up to this moment, and I think it's really beautiful. So I literally randomly bought a shirt at Target that day that it was like a shade of gray that shows wetness really well. This will all make sense in a minute. It was a shade of gray that shows wetness really well. And so I randomly bought that day, and then that evening I randomly decided to try it on, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like wearing a bra right now. This sounds really weird, but it's gonna make sense. I was like, I don't feel like wearing a bra right now. So I'm gonna take this off. I just want to be comfortable. And so I just tried the shirt on, and then I left the shirt on. I was like, okay, I need to take some time to pray over this now. Intentional time to quiet the noise and pray and spend some time listening to the Lord. And so I just left that shirt on, and I grabbed my journal, my Bible, and went to sit on this bed. I was actually dog sitting at someone else's house, so I wasn't at my house, but I went to sit on this bed, and I was like, I feel like I really need to go in the closet and pray. I have a little prayer closet. I've showed it in a previous video, but I have a little prayer closet, and that's been a game changer for me and my relationship with the Lord. And I feel like just having that intimate, intentional space to be with the Lord is just so powerful, and something about like a smaller space just feels more powerful, and like I can, you know, just quiets the external noise a little more. So I was like, I feel like I really need to be in the closet right now. And so I went into this closet at this random house, and I then I was like, I really feel like I need to be on my knees. So I was like on my knees in prayer, journaling out my prayers, crying, just like really praying for clarity in specific directions. And it was really crazy, but I sat up from like being on my knees and I noticed I felt like a little weird sensation, and I like looked down and there was a little wet spot on my shirt. This might be a little TMI, but this is life. This is what symptom of this tumor. So anyway, there was a little wet spot, and that is a symptom of this tumor. So prolactin is the hormone that produces breast milk when you're pregnant. So a big symptom of this tumor is that you start lactating, and that starts with just getting discharge from your nipples and all that fun stuff. So I noticed a little wet spot, and it was while I was just praying for clarity and direction. And you know, I knew the medication was the right next step if I started showing symptoms, but I was so unsure because I didn't think I was showing symptoms. But just having that clarity of, okay, my body is needing some sort of treatment right now because it is showing symptoms, and I don't want this to continue to get worse, because it's been apparent that my prolactin, you know, it over doubled, and then I started showing symptoms, and it was like that day I just started showing like a lot of symptoms, and the next few days I was just really feeling those symptoms. So noticing that was honestly really the clarity that I needed to, and I knew that was just like confirmation from the Lord that the next step is medication. Do I think this is gonna be like, I'm gonna be on this medication for life? No. Do I know if this medication is even gonna work? No, but I know it is the next right step for me, and I feel nothing but peace about that, and I trust the Lord in this. And yeah, it's like I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds my future, and that's what I'm trying to continue to lean on. I still have my moments of humanness, I still have my moments of fear, but in those moments I am reminded that I need to quiet the noise, quiet the external noise, and spend time with the Lord. Basically, the symptoms, I know people are very curious about what symptoms I had. I only last week started experiencing some symptoms. There are some other symptoms that I've had. It's really confusing to know because I know I've had other hormonal imbalances, so all of my androgens and stress hormones and testosterone have been elevated for a while, and that is a separate thing that I've been working to heal. So it's hard to know what is the symptoms are from that versus this tumor, but I have been experiencing some hot flashes, which can also be a symptom of this tumor, and dark hairs growing like on my stomach and chest area, which can also be a symptom of this tumor. I've been very, very emotional, but that's really hard because this has been a very tough few months. So I don't know if that's just life or if that is from this tumor, but it can be from this tumor. I started experiencing the breast discharge, which is definitely a symptom of this tumor. I think that's about it for me. I know the most common symptoms of this tumor are losing your period irregularity. Basically, you start experiencing symptoms of pregnancy or menopause. Like both of those symptoms from both of those things can be symptoms of this tumor. It is very hormonal. There are different types of pituitary tumors that can have different symptoms, but this one in particular is called a prolactinoma, which it secretes excess prolactin, which is the hormone that produces breast milk when you're pregnant. So you start experiencing pregnancy symptoms and even menopausal symptoms. And once the tumor grows and it gets larger, it can press up against your optic nerves and cause vision issues, and people get really bad headaches as well. I have not experienced any of that yet, thankfully, and I'm very grateful that I caught it when I did. My tumor was only 4 millimeters when I got the MRI, so it's very, very tiny. Your pituitary gland is the size of a bean though, so we would hope it's tiny. I started the medication, I started cabergoline on Friday. I took my first dose, so you only take half a pill twice a week. So I started my first dose on Friday night. You take it at night because you can sleep off some of the side effects, because apparently it can have some rough side effects. So I took it Friday night. Saturday I did experience some, Saturday was really tough. I experienced some side effects. I felt pretty nauseous all day. I didn't have an appetite. I woke up with a little headache. The headache went away though. And I was extremely fatigued. My body was achy. And I almost passed out once. So those are some symptoms that, or side effects from medication that I experienced, but that was only Saturday. Sunday, I was still pretty fatigued. My appetite wasn't normal, but I wasn't nauseous. I didn't almost pass out, so I felt a little better on Sunday. Yesterday, I felt pretty normal. Appetite is still not fully there, but didn't have any of the other symptoms. I took my second dose yesterday, so I take it Monday and Friday. I took my second dose yesterday, and they say sometimes it takes a few weeks for your body to get used to it, and the day after you take it is usually the hardest day. But I took it yesterday, last night, and I woke up feeling pretty normal. So I'm still a little fatigued, but again, I don't know if that is just because the last few months have been emotionally exhausting, or if it is from medication, but I'm not like super fatigued like I was on Saturday. And my appetite is still not fully normal, but that's about it. I'm not nauseous. Like, I feel pretty good. Like, I was able to go on my walk this morning, and I'm feeling like me. And I'm feeling very hopeful about all of this. It also feels really good to be sharing this with you guys now. I know I needed that time to process it without it being public, but I feel like it is definitely the right time to be talking about this and opening up about this. But yeah, I'm doing okay. So basically, I will get my levels rechecked again in 6 weeks after being on the medication, just to see how my body is responding to the medication. And they say after 6 months of having normal prolactin levels, you can try to taper off of the medication. Some people, it goes back up after that, your tumor grows again, which this medication can also shrink the tumor too. Some people are able to come off of it and never struggle with it again. Some people come off of it for a couple of years, have to get back on it a couple of years later. Some people, their body doesn't respond to the medication at all, and then they try another medication, or surgery is an option at some point. Surgery too is very minimally invasive, so it's a very treatable tumor, which I'm very grateful for. So the surgery, they go in through your nose. Your pituitary gland is right behind your sinus cavity at the base of your brain, so it's right behind your nose. So they take like a camera up one nostril and the tools up the other nostril, and they can remove it that way. So it is pretty minimally invasive, but it is like a brain surgery at the end of the day, so it is a little scary, but minimally invasive, and has good results. And to me, I feel like, you know, if it comes to the point where it's medication for the rest of my life or get this surgery, I'd probably lean towards the surgery, but we're not there yet. So I'm trying to take this one step at a time. That's how I'm really keeping my peace, is just trusting the Lord with my future, because he's holding my future, and just focusing on the one step in front of me. And that's how I'm finding my peace in the midst of this, and I'm feeling very hopeful. I'm feeling very good today. I'm feeling pretty normal today, just some appetite weirdness, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good, and just really grateful for you guys. So thank you for the love and support. I will definitely continue to share this journey with you guys. If you come across this video and you have the same tumor, welcome. You're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you. If you're going through a hard season at all, I want you to know that you're not alone, and you're so loved. It's gonna be okay. Keep taking it one step at a time. You don't have to worry about the future. The future's gonna take care of itself. Just focus on that next step in front of you, and just trust, have faith that it's all gonna work out, and it's all gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this, and I'm excited to continue to share this journey with you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you, and I will see you very soon. If you have any questions at all or anything, drop them below. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here for you guys. I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Have a good day.